All right, today we are going to talk about discount and markup. So if you think about the word discount, I want you to think about that as we work through these ideas. And then on the second page, we're going to talk about markup. All right, so I'm not going to define them for you yet, but I just want you to think about them as I go through these comparison problems. So in the very first problem, we are going to look at the same pair of sneakers on sale in 3 different stores. Which one is the better buy? So we've talked about ratios and comparisons with better buys, but now we're going to actually find out with percentages which one is the better buy. So store number 1, the regular price is $45 and the sneakers are 40% off. So we are going to figure out that one first. So I'm going to kind of zoom in. And remember, percent always goes on the right-hand side of the proportion. So when I do that, I get 40% over 100. I know they cost a total of 45, so remember my whole goes in the bottom, and I'm figuring out the part that is the discount. So I cross multiply, and I get 100x equals, notice this is all the same process, nothing is changing, 1800 divide by 100 to get the discount. So now you have to think about, what does discount mean? So when I think discount, I think the money off. So when I do that, in my step 2 of this problem, so this was step 1. Step 2, I have to take my original price minus my discount to get the new price of the shoes, so $27. So it's going to have you go down here in part A, and it wants you to highlight up to the discount. So the discount on this one was $18. So we're going to highlight all of this in. And then we know the total cost of the shoes was $27 after the discount. All right, store number 2. Regular price of the shoe, $49. Discount is 50% off. We know that 50% is half, but if you have to show some work, show it. So we have the discount we don't know over the total price of the shoes equals the percentage off over 100. So 50 over 100. Cross multiply. We divide. Remembering that dollars and cents cannot be written without adding that 0 on the end. And then we have a step 2. So there's step 1. Step 2. Let's get that in a different color. So we have $49, the original, minus the discount, gives us our sale price. So remember, we were taking half off, so this should come out to be the same as the discount. So I have my discount and now my price of my shoes, and that should make sense because you're taking 50% off. So we're going to go down to this highlight bar, and we are going to highlight all the way up to here because that's $24.50. And you can already compare store A to store B, the yellow to the green, and you can see that the better price is going to be where you got the better discount, $24.50, because the shoes are cheaper, and you can see that in your final price up top too. Store A was $27, where store B is $24.50. So we already know that the better buy is the 50% off, but we have to look at store C. So store C, we have a regular price of $39 and up to 70% off. So that means that this discount could be less than 70%, but we're going to use the 70%, assuming we get that whole entire 70% off, and actually set that up in the space down below. So step 1, we have to find the discount of up to 70%. So the most you can receive off is 70. So X over 39, because 39 is the original price of the shoes, and 70% over 100, cross multiply, divide, and there's your discount. And then we still have step 2. Step 2 has you take the original minus the discount, and that gives you your discounted price. So $27.30 in store C. So you have to also consider that in store C, you might not get that 70% off because it's up to. So right now, store C at 70% off is the winner. But if you don't get 70% off, you would have to recalculate and figure out maybe store B might be the better buy. But overall, so we know store A is not. So what is the meaning of the word discount? Well, it means the money off, the dollar, the amount off, the amount subtracted from the original price. So let's go down here and look at some of these extension problems. Determine the amount you save and the price you paid. So we did that. Determine the amount you save. So the amount you save is your discount. So we're going to write that in. So the amount that you save is the discount. And we have that in all the problems above. The price you pay is the original minus the discount. And we have those all highlighted up above, so I'm not going to have you rewrite those. Why would this price not be possible for C? So I kind of just explored those options. Because the tag says up to 70% off, that doesn't mean we're going to get the full 70% off. So answer number 2, we can just write in up to 70% off does not mean that is the biggest discount. So to explain further in words, you might only get 50% off. Maybe you have to spend a certain amount to get the 70% off, and then you have to buy more shoes, and then you're not saving more money at store C. How do you decide the best buy? So you need to think about that. How do you determine the best buy? Well, the cheapest amount you pay in the very end. So obviously store B gives us that best buy, but store C could if the 70% coupon is able to be used. All right, so let's move down to activity 2, and we are going to talk about finding an original price. So you buy a shirt that's on sale for 30% off. You pay $22.40. Your friend wants to know the original price of the shirt. How should you use the model to find the original price? So we know $22.40 right here is what the amount you paid. And then this piece down here is the amount you didn't pay. So we need to find that difference between the original and the amount you actually paid. So you can use the percent proportion to do this. How so? You're going to set it up a little differently. So we know here's our proportional setup. We know percentage goes on the right. So we know this shirt was 30% off. I've taught you this top number has always been the discount, and we've never known the discount. But in this case, we know that we paid $22.40. So do we know the discount? I want you to think about that for a second. That's this yellow piece right here. How could we use the model to figure that out? Because we also don't know the original price. So the original price has to be our X, which was our total. How could I use the model? See if you can do that on your own. Pause the video. Okay, so we know that in this model, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars. And we know that that end piece is 2240. So if I take 2240 and divide it by the 7 spaces, that means that each of these spaces are $3.20. So if each space is $3.20, that means down here, each of these spaces are $3.20. And if we add those $3.20 up, we get $9.60, which represents that yellow area. So the discount was $9.60. And now that's going to help me go back to this X value and find the original price by cross multiplying and dividing. So we get 30X equals 9.6 times 100 and X is equal to $32. And that should make sense, because if this original price isn't more than what you paid, $22.40, then you didn't do something right, because the discount told you the lesser amount. So that's how you go ahead using that model to find what your original price was. All right, so activity 3. You own a small jewelry store. You increase the price of the jewelry by $125. So this one is actually the markup. So we're going to move this down here. Okay. You own a small jewelry store. You increase the price, that should be a key to the word markup, by 125%. Use the model to estimate the selling price of the jewelry, then use a calculator to find the selling price. So your cost is $250. And we're remembering that we're marking it up by 125%. So if I set up the percent proportion, I know that the percentage has to go over 100, even though we're marking it up by over 100%. That's so that the company makes money. So now we have to decide what goes on the left side. I always taught you this is the part over the whole. So it tells you that your cost is $250. So let's try it. Let's put it up. Oh, sorry. And pretend we don't know the whole. And let's see what happens. Sometimes it's better to guess and make sense of it. So 250 times 100 gives us 125x equals 25,000. And when I divide by 125, I get $200. So this $200 has to represent the selling price. Would that make sense? Use a model to estimate the selling price of the jewelry. You're increasing it by 125%. Your cost is $250. Would it make sense that you're selling it for less money if you're marking it up? The answer to that is no. So we are going to reset up the problem and see if it works the other way. I'm going to minimize this for us. So let's try it the other way. X over 250 equals 125 over 100. 100x equals 31,250. X is equal to $312.50. So let's think about this now. If I'm marking up or increasing the price, which price would make more sense? Selling it for $200 when it costs $250, or selling it for $312.50? Well, if you're paying $250 to buy it and you want to sell it and make money, it only makes sense that you sell it for $312.50, because markup means increase. So this right here is your correct proportion. I wanted to show you both ways because I know a lot of people are switching this left side of the proportional setup. So let's do it again here. On this one, your cost is $50 and we're still increasing by 125%. So I have 125 over 100. Again, I know I want my part over my cost. So that gives me 100x equals 6,250. $62.50. So let's think, does that make sense? If it costs me $50 and I want to have a markup $62.50, yep. So I'm going to mark up that item by $62.50. So let's clarify. Markup means increase. So that means for the cost of $250, you're going to add $312.50 to your $250. For the cost of $50, you are going to add $62.50 to your final markup increase. So what does that mean? That means you have to take your original plus your markup and put them together to get your final cost. So on the first one, final cost, $562.50. On the other one, $50 plus $62.50 is equal to, sorry guys, $112.50. So final costs for each item. So again, markup means to increase the price, discount means to decrease. So there's two steps to everything. We find the amount that comes off with a discount and then we take it away. With a markup, we find out what the increase is and we add it onto the price. All right, so you are going to now go to your check, and I want you to do your check for understanding and submit that to Canvas.